broadcast network, Afterbuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. Afterbuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello and welcome to the Librarians Afterbuzz After Show here on Afterbuzz, obviously. I'm your host, Yael. With me, as always, Sam Davidson.
Hello, guys.
Welcome. We are talking about the season finale. I'm going to call it a two-part season finale, even though it wasn't. It was an episode and a season finale.
Yes.
We have City of Lights and the Loom of Fate. And I'll tell you this, one of our amazing... Guys, we have amazing fans. We say it pretty much every week. They're so smart.
Yes.
So smart. And yes, all of you were right. We were wrong. We know. All of you.
Yeah.
Great job.
I'm like, okay, just come take over, guys.
Yeah, like you guys lead this show. But one of our wonderful fans, Patty or Patsy, I'm sorry, I don't remember, posted on our YouTube the list of episodes in the order they were supposed to be shown.
Yes, I saw that. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Oh my goodness, thank you. That was so helpful. It really puts things in perspective.
Yeah, I kind of might just rewatch them all in that order now that it's over.
I think that's a great idea, and I cannot wait to go back and do it, especially because we haven't heard about any pickup yet. I mean, it's still early, there's time, but that means that I feel like in a week or two, we're gonna be like, I need it, where is it? And we'll sit and rewatch it in order.
And we'll find so many more new things that we didn't know before. Because I have a lot, I feel like I'm at like 40%, you know what I mean? Of really like 100% grasping everything. Like, I get it, I understand what's going on, but you know, it's one of those shows you got to rewatch. Yeah,
I'm so excited. So let's jump in to City of Lights. We'll talk about this a little bit. I'm really excited to get to the finale. City of Lights, we've got this city which was built on top of another city. And Nikola Tesla was doing amazing, cool things there. And he was working with different dimensions and these gas lamps. Yeah. What did you think of this whole kind of a steampunky episode?
I actually liked this episode. I don't know why, I just really like Stone and Cassandra, and I was like, who is this girl?
Yeah.
What? Come on.
All right, let's talk about Mabel.
Mabel
Collins. You didn't like her.
No, I got it at the end. I was like, all right. Like, I knew that they were going to get us to kind of like her, and then she's probably going to die.
Yep.
Which is what happened. But she was lying from the start. Yeah. Let's just point that out. She's not. And these people aren't completely innocent.
Yeah.
At all. They've done some really messed up stuff.
Yeah.
It's like if you get lost in a different dimension, it's like kind of like you die. If you die, you can't just, it's not right to go and like take someone's life that's on Earth. And they were old. So what? I'm sorry. That's just my opinion about it.
All right. So I will say this episode was very similar to an episode of Doctor Who. I'm always bringing up Doctor Who. Very similar to the third episode of Doctor Who. I don't remember what it's called. People are gonna kill me. But it's these aliens are trying to pass through, and they get into the bodies of the deceased, the recently deceased. But it was very similar. It just felt the same way also with the gas lamps and whatever. That said, it was an interesting episode. I liked that they went really steampunk, that Ezekiel had the goggles from the UFO chaser, that we found out that he's kind of a UFO nut. That was exciting. As for Mabel, I don't know how I feel. I kind of liked her in the beginning when she was super flirty, and I liked how much it was bothering Cassandra. And then once we got to know more about her, I was like, I don't really care. And then she died, and I was like, yeah, I got it. But I do like that this episode really had a lot of moral questions, and it ended in a very ambiguous way. They felt very bad about failing.
They were going to put them on the to-do list, so to speak, which I'm like, okay, how many hundreds of years is that going to take to get to?
I want to talk about that in a minute, but I want to first wrap up the question of, you know, they wanted to do the right thing, and Stone said, we will do the right thing. And did they do the right thing? Were these people doing the right thing to begin with?
No.
You disagree. You think they weren't?
No.
You think that they were taking advantage of humans' bodies? They
were. If you have to do that, and I mean, what good were they doing on or in this dimension that, you know, that was okay? If they were doing some serious good on Earth, in our dimension, what have you, then like I would get it for some reason, like they had this knowledge or power, but they weren't.
Well, I feel like, and I hope the fans can let us know if we're right, but I feel like Mabel said that they were all engineers. They were all part of Tesla's team, which makes me wonder, where was Tesla? Like, did he die? Was he one of them? What happened?
I felt like that wasn't, they were taking, like, they were finishing his thing. Yeah.
But they got zapped into another dimension while he was working, and then he eventually died, which makes me wonder why he didn't, you know, also try to do what Mabel, or what, you know, they were doing, Mabel and the other ones. It was just a very interesting, you know, like, that's an interesting thing to do. How odd that they're doing this with these people.
And it's the kind of thing, it's a really cool idea. That's why I did like the episode. But in a way, I'm like, that's its own TV show.
Yeah.
Like, I want to, like, one episode, because I knew one of them was going to die, and it was going to be a whole thing. They needed closure with that storyline. But, like, there's more to that. That's a great idea for a TV show.
That would be a really awesome, like, that town, you know, Collins Falls, formerly Wardenclyffe Falls.
Ooh, I got it. Guys, watch out for this one. I'm going to write the next big TV show about this stuff.
So, you know, they decide that a 50-50 chance of blowing up the town and everyone around the town, and destroying the lamp so they would all be gone forever, versus they might bring the town back. And Baird came back. That was fine.
Of course she did. I mean, and we don't really exactly know why or how.
She was the first one, last one in, first one out.
Right, and then it just stopped.
Well, I mean, they needed it to be stronger to let everyone else out, because everyone else had been in there for 100 years.
Yeah.
So it needed to get stronger. There was a 50-50 chance that it would explode.
Right.
Okay, so let's talk about the appointment book. At the end of the episode, Jenkins gives Baird the appointment book. He's like, you know, in case in 100 years you have something you need to do. And I was like, what? First off, amazing concept of an appointment book that is, you know, through the lifetimes, because, you know, the librarians last a human lifetime. So an appointment book that is longer, amazing. I think they're setting up, not to get into predictions, but I think they're setting up at least an episode in season 2 is going to be like, no, we have an appointment from like 300 years ago.
Yeah, and we know time travel is like, you know, that's they're very well versed in time travel. That's the thing they do. So it's total. If there is when there is a season 2, I hope that it will be addressed, because it was such a cool idea.
It's such a great. They were like, hey, we're gonna plant this seed. You see, this is gonna grow into a tree.
I know, it's such a tease though, because we didn't even really get very many plants done by the end of the season.
Yeah. I really liked this. I like this appointment book. I'm excited. I feel like that is a show on its own. Is these people are they have all these appointments that were put in there hundreds of years ago. There were 2 shows created in this episode.
Yeah.
2 shows. All right. I think we should head over to the Loom of Fate. That was our
real finale.
Yeah. We find out that, well, we start in the tombs. We're in the tombs. We find out that everyone was sent there because they were told, or Flynn was told, or Flynn thought he got a note from Jenkins to go to the tombs. It then turns out that it was Dulaque. Yes, you're all right that he's Lancelot. We apologize that we are not as familiar. Got it.
Guys.
Good job. Good job. You get an applaud. Okay. So we find out that what they get from the tombs is needed in addition to the artifacts that they've gathered all season. They have a reality-altering storybook, a magic app, a dimensional stabilizer, which is the coils from the episode we just saw, and twine from the labyrinth.
Yes.
Amazing. The entire season, you're like, okay, they're gathering things, whatever. Like, I'm looking, I don't know about you guys, but I was watching the entire season being like, ooh, that statement is a clue, and that statement is a clue. And the clues were the actual artifacts that they gathered all season.
It was really cool. It was pretty, just as the writers, you know, and I'm glad, because we kept on saying all season, we really hope, like, those things are going to somehow.
Yeah.
And while I'm not going to speak for you, but, like, not all my seeds have really come to fruition of what they've given me, but a lot of them, you know, it's like you saw them again. So at least it means something.
Yeah, we built up to this epic, and it was a pretty epic finale. Okay, so we put all these things together, and we tell the story. I love that Flynn is like, great, and he just starts saying the coordinates into the storybook. And they're like, no, it's a story.
Yeah.
It's a story.
He's such a child. I just need to say I don't know. If I were Baird, I would just be a little bit like, grow up. It's not hot.
Well, okay, so let's talk about that. When we head into, okay, sorry, I was ahead of myself. Well, when she gets to Stone and he's the librarian and he is kind of grown up, he's very adult and macho and Indiana Jonesy. And she's not having any of it. She kind of likes the childishness.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, before we get to Stone, how do we get to Stone? Dulaque comes. He stabs Lamia. He needs a blood sacrifice, so he stabs her? What?
We just got her back.
Yeah, also, is she gone? Is that it? Is that the end of Lamia?
Like I said before, they wouldn't keep on bringing her back if her death wasn't like very, you know, like triumphant or not sad because like she's not good, but
it was sad though. She says to him, "I loved you," and he says it was necessary. That is so heartbreaking.
I didn't like feel I need to know more about their story and what happened. So I'm just like, okay, like more will come. I'm still, but
so you think Lamia is still alive?
Yes.
Okay. I don't. I think that was the end of her.
All right. Well, we shall see.
We
might not ever know.
No, we will see.
We will know. We will know.
Okay. So we stab Lamia. We are taken to the River of Time and the Loom of Fate. Dulaque, who reveals, nope, he has not yet revealed who he is, cuts the fabric in the loom, and he's like, I want to go back to Camelot when everything was great. And he does, which sends Baird into another time stream, and she is with, she finds Flynn, who is where, this was the coolest part, is they tied it to the movies. This was, I think, the first time that it was necessary that we saw the movie, at least the first movie.
Yeah.
Because up until this point, it was, you don't have to have seen the movies, start over, this is where it is. But we start in this first timeline and see Stone as exactly where Flynn was. He was Flynn. Amazing. And to see Flynn back in that, you know, I'm just studying. I like to study. I like school. I don't need to do things. And it was just so like, hey guys, remember that this was based on 3 movies? That's what that was.
And it's interesting, like, why Stone?
You know what? I don't know, but I think that it was because it's Christian Kane, and he is so ruggedly handsome, and that kiss, which she was not having any of,
it was either a fan, was it you? I don't think it was you. I think it was a fan that said that they saw something between Baird and Stone, and they wanted there to be something.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't you. It was a fan, I think, either on Twitter or on YouTube.
I feel like it was on YouTube.
Yeah, and I was like, no, what? But that's kind of interesting because they tapped into, like...
Well, what's funny is we put them together, and we saw him being macho, you know, Stone, being Christian Kane, being so handsome. And he kisses her passionately, And she's like, no. She didn't want any of it. I think they're too strong, I want to say like stubborn characters.
They're too similar?
Too
possibly?
similar.
Yeah.
And I think it would be like, as they say, two Tauruses should not be together because they butt heads. That's what they say. Anyway, so we find out that Baird had died. She had died after she stopped Dulaque from stealing the library, and that she was stabbed, I believe, by Excalibur. So the entire first two episodes were rewritten in this time stream, and that she was the one who was stabbed, and she died because a wound from Excalibur can't be healed.
Right.
We then see this, the first time that we see that Flynn is really necessary as a librarian, which is such a weird, like, reminder, like, hey guys, we've had an entire season where you got used to these 3 new librarians who are learning things. Here's a reminder that we have a librarian and he is important.
Yeah, and you guys are just kind of his disciples.
So they figure out this transportation, and they're transported to Ezekiel's time, the ghost world. And again, we have another kind of reminder of an episode. We're reminded of the house, and Katie, and it said, and Ezekiel says Katie wasn't put down right, and she had wished for the path between the worlds to open, and therefore the spirits came. And again, we have another, Flynn has to solve the issue, helping Ezekiel in a way that Ezekiel would have never done. So another, like, although you are kind of a librarian, he is the librarian.
But also for that, for me, I was like, another awesome episode / TV show. Like, oh my God, can I just know more about that specific storyline? Because I was super into that. To be honest, I wish somehow that could have been the episode of the house that we had seen the week before, because that was a little lackluster for me. But that storyline with him like that, and in a way, I wish these like different planes that they were all on we could have just seen more, because they were fascinating.
I wish they would have each had their own episode.
Yes, I could have done without a few of them and then just done that.
Ezekiel, I'm going to say it, guys. I'm going to say it. John Kim with those 2 gray streaks in his hair. So sexy.
Yeah, like, where did that come from? Oh, my God.
It was very Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four. It's like, Reed Richards. Whoo-wee. It was very handsome.
Yeah.
Yeah. John Kim, sir.
You will age well.
You will age well. You are welcome back in the studio anytime. All right. So apparently also in this timeline, Bear died again. And she was like a mother to Ezekiel because he was taken or invited to the library as a teenager. Interesting. That's like a little tidbit of like, oh, maybe his invitation originally came and he was a teen. How old is he supposed to be?
I don't know.
Yeah. It's another reminder that he's young. All right, we jump time streams again. We get to Cassandra.
That was
Cassandra.
Very. I actually liked all 3 of their
They're separate
worlds.
timelines.
Yeah, but hers was fascinating, and I was just like, "What are you doing? Like, is she Indian?" And that's what I was like, "Is she talking like a like?" She was like, she almost looked like she was like, no, I'm sorry, Egyptian. She looked like.
I was like, "What are you talking about?"
No, not Indian. She just looked as though, and she kind of had an accent. She did. I watched it a few times, and she was talking differently.
It was a status thing.
I suppose so, yeah.
She
and
was,
so maybe something got tagged onto that I picked up on.
Yeah.
But it was, and she had kind of become in control more than she had been before.
She was, I'm gonna throw another show reference in there. She was the mother of dragons. She was the one who could protect the people from the dragons. And she has Lamia as her guardian, which I think is such a fun twist. That Lamia says that Dulaque killed Baird, and so she took over as guardian.
As a guardian, yeah.
What a fun twist. I want that.
I want that too, because we like her so much.
I want her, you know what? I'm going to say it. If she's back in season 2, it's going to be they healed her and she stayed to be a guardian because Dulaque betrayed her because he stabbed her.
Yeah.
And that did happen.
It'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so Cassandra's learned to use magic and she's so powerful and amazing, and she has the loom, and with the help of Flynn again, they realize what they need to do. She calls the other librarians, and they need the thread, the labyrinth thread, to weave into the loom. Okay, we get back to the loom, and here's what I want to talk about. For those who somehow, I don't know how, may not know this, young Dulaque, Lancelot, was played by the one and only Jerry O'Connell, Mr. Rebecca Romaine. He stabbed his wife.
Yeah, it's like, could you bring my husband in for this real quick, but just so he can stab me?
Yeah. He tweeted the funniest things. I saw it later because I didn't watch it live. He had tweeted, like, we carpooled to work that day.
and then I killed her.
Yeah, it's weird. I killed the mother of my children. Like, that's amazing. What a fun way to do it.
I do feel like, and I honestly can't recall anything in the exact moment. If I had a computer in front of me, I know, but like they often jump into each other's projects.
Yeah.
A lot.
Oh, yeah.
And it's cool. And they're always in random roles you would never expect. But I'm like, that's fun, you know? That's a great time for them.
Yeah. And you know what? Dulaque isn't gone. He didn't die. I think we will have more opportunities to, I feel like we're not done with this Camelot storyline. I feel like we're going to go back. And I love the idea of him being able to come back and be young Dulaque, young Lancelot again. That's going to be so fun.
And they can still carpool.
Yeah, and then he could stab her again. Oh, so good. So everything is restored, and we find out that Baird is the only one who kind of remembers everything. And she asks Jenkins why it is that she can do this. And he is like, well, you know, the clippings book got us all the things, and so you could do this because you did the Santa thing. You could splinter through time. But he sent them on that. What do you think that, and he was like, coincidence. No, not coincidence, sir. What do you think this means?
I think that I second guess everything I said in the season before that he never cared about them. And that he has cared about them greatly because he kind of has seen everything that could happen or is going to happen and has been controlling it in a way and protecting them and distancing himself at the same time. Because if he's going to sometime, I don't know, but I think that he has trying to control everything that's been going on, and he cares a great deal about him. Yeah.
I kind of feel like if you remember when we first met him, he was sitting and waiting for them. He knew they would come. And I wonder if he knew all of this and that maybe he's not just, you know, Galahad and all of that, but maybe he's got some sort of oracle power, or he has some connection to the Loom of Fate and he knows.
Here's what I kind of also think too is that he might have been in the future and he possibly by bringing them all together is trying to change something from the past.
Yeah.
And I think he's planned this entire thing and knew basically everything that was going to happen. And a lot of the time when they would come to him and be like, oh my God, what are we doing? What are we going to do? This is happening. He was so weirdly calm because he kind of knew what was going to happen because it's already happened before. That's my weird theory on it. But I think that though he wanted to change the past by bringing more librarians in.
And we've said, I know I said it when we first started about Charlene and Judson, that maybe Charlene is like the heart of the library or something. What if he is the heart of the library?
At this point, it kind of seems like that because we expected those other characters would be throughout the season, but they weren't. He was.
Yeah.
So, yes.
I feel like he is I'm doing it again. He is like in Doctor Who, he can see all of time and space. He sees everything and knows all that may or may not happen. He sees every outcome
possibility, dimension. And he's like, I feel like he's known all of them in the past too.
Yeah.
And I think he was very distant to them on purpose.
Right.
Because like he didn't want them to pick up on that he knew them already.
Yeah. He says there was an interesting statement he said about how it feels like the past months were dictated by fate itself. And I feel like he is fate, or maybe he is destiny, or one of those. I feel like he is an embodiment of something.
Yes.
That's where I feel.
And he kind of has context, so to speak, on both good and bad.
Right.
You know, it's like maybe he was with the bad guys for a while, knew how that would play out, switched over. I mean, we've said this before. God knows how long he's been around for. Yeah.
And how it is that he lived this long. That's still a question we don't have. I mean, him and Dulaque, you know, they came from this world, and who knows how they did it.
Well, because we did see that weird, like, morphism thing at the end, right? With Jerry O'Connell.
Where he became Dulaque again?
Yeah, very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Why did that happen then?
So because the Loom of Fate was being put back together and everything was getting fixed. So then he was no longer young Lancelot. He was Dulaque. And then he disappeared because they never came to the Loom of Fate.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so a few other things. At the end, we get this letter from Charlene because they found the library. Let's talk about the library being back.
That was it happened so fast.
It happened so fast, and it was very odd because the way they wrote as they're writing their storybook, and then, you know, with her blood, the library appeared, and they went in, and like, I was like, you could have saved her and then open the library.
Right. But Flynn's first
priority.
That's kind of why, too, at the end of the episode, you know, I was like, oh, come on. I mean, you know what? I will take Stone. Even though, like, in general, I just would anyways. But
right, because Kristen Kane is really hot.
Yes. However, it was very, and they were like, come on, what are you doing? He was running around like a freaking little boy.
Well, he was getting something to save her.
I know, but he was just taking him like, like I was just like expecting him to go flying in the wind. Like it was a little bit ridiculous to me. He was so happy, and usually, you know, he didn't have much time.
Yeah.
And he was taking, you know, that was his most like, oh my God, I'm so excited this is saved.
Right.
Now I want to save this girl that I care about.
Yeah. So a letter from Charlene, which we don't know what it says. There's a little note. I don't understand why we don't get to see it or read it or hear it. I can't wait till next season.
Or see her again.
Yeah.
Like, it's not fair. You can't put that kind of amazing actress in front of us and then be like, oh, she's not honored at all. She just, you know, was in the movies.
She made an appearance.
Yeah.
We also get the librarians. They graduate. They're no longer in training, and they get a mini clippings book. So that they can either go on adventures by themselves or together. And we see that they want to go together, which we just had an entire episode and 3 different timelines where we realized that we needed all of them to be able to properly solve things together. We need, you know, our architecture and our artist. We need our tech and securities. We need our magic, maths, and sciences. And we need our Flynn with our history and PhD in looming skills or weaving. You know, we need them all together.
Yeah. And I think, well, I mean, because Jenkins kind of did say to them, like, you all go do this on your own. I don't really think he even really said, like, you have the option of doing it together. It was like, no, you guys have graduated to not have to do it together anymore.
Flynn says to them, he says, go, you know, do this, take a story, do an adventure, go yourself, team up on some, come ask us for help, don't ask too much. Yeah. He wants them to work together, but not always. And I feel like we just had an entire 50 minutes of, here's why you work best together.
And he presented that to them, but I think at the same time, you know, he wants it to be their choice.
Yeah.
To work together, it's like, you know, when parents do something and they're like, well, you know, you don't have to do this, but if you don't, and kind of hint at something, and then you say, I'm never going to do that. I can't wait to be out on my own. And then you end up together again.
Right. All right, I'll take it. I feel like there was so much excitement through both episodes. And this season altogether, it has just been so fun, and I'm not ready for it to be over. And it's just so well written and put together. And the fact that they drop these little hints throughout the season, which paid off. And that makes it so worth it. I can't even begin to think about what I want to see next and where I want it to go.
I mean, and there's so many things that I want to not only new stories, but stories I still want to see more of, like we discussed tonight. And the relationships. I mean, this show is so action-packed, and I was very keen on Cassandra and Stone getting together, and I'm not going to let it go. And there's so much of me that wants to see not less action, but more of like the relationship development just between all of them. And, you know, Flynn and Eve too. You want to see them kind of do their like lovey thing, and they've been hinting at it since episode 1. It's like they got together so fast. We said they did.
Yeah.
And then you don't see him for most of the season. So it was like very teasing.
Well, I mean, the season ends with them going on their first real date. And I love that he half asks her and she's like, "You asking me out?" And he's like, "Yeah." She's like, "All right, good." And then his date idea is an adventure, is a monster or a cult or, you know, something.
Yeah.
It tells you a lot about the relationship. And I know that you and a lot of the fans are big, fighters for this Cassandra Stone thing. I read an amazing article where Lindy Booth, who plays Cassandra, said that she wants Cassandra and Jenkins to get together.
What?
I love it. I can't believe I didn't think of it, first of all.
Oh my God. I did just get the chills, which was weird. However, like that seems like a completely insane idea to me.
If you think about Cassandra from her timeline, Mother of Dragons Cassandra, I'm going to call her Khaleesi Cassandra.
Oh, and just call it, you got your dragon tonight, girl. You got your dragon.
I got my dragons. Finally. I feel like that's why they didn't show us the dragons earlier.
Because they needed to save it for the finale.
They're like, we can't afford dragons in 2 episodes. We can't afford
like two episodes of dragons, just one.
But if you put the Khaleesi Cassandra, that's what I'm calling her, with Jenkins, now that we know who he is, I will take that. I think that's wonderful. But I am odd.
And well, okay, when I did see the Stone and Baird
kiss,
yes, and how he seemed to feel about her, like very strong. I mean, he loved her and was so happy to see her, and like he's an amazing actor, and I was just like, oh my God, like he was really like he loved her.
You saw more love between Stone and Baird in that alternate universe than you saw with Stone and Mabel in the first episode?
Yeah, because in the alternate universe, Stone and Baird were like in love for a while. Those two just met and,
and they had so much in common.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, like, how long was that? A week?
A day?
Yeah, a
day. And like they were flirty. I'm sorry, they're flirting. Sorry to jump around, guys, but back in City of Lights, the flirting between Stone and Mabel with Cassandra standing there like, ask about the thing. Ask anything. Like, so frustrated with their French flirting. I loved it.
I mean, yes, but I think we can conclude from all of that he just flirts with everybody. Basically, like a lot of beautiful women. Because I'm like, I like him with her and her and her. He connects with everybody because he's a freaking beautiful god. I love him.
He is. That is correct.
I've become a
caniac?
Yes, I have become a caniac.
Caniacs, you have converted another one.
Yes, you got me. I want him to be with everybody, and I am a super feminist and do not like that stuff, but you know what? He can really do whatever he wants.
I think my biggest issue with the fact that Stone is flirting with everyone and that he's successfully flirting with everyone is that in Leverage, his character was also a ladies' man. And I don't, it's not that I don't like it because he is so gosh darn handsome. But I feel like I would like to see him break out of that. And that's what I like about this character is that he knows how to fight, but it's mostly bar fights. And that he's not as ready to fight whereas in Leverage, he was always the one fighting.
Yeah, that was kind of his bread and butter in Leverage.
Yeah, and here he can't. Oh, that hair. I liked the long hair.
Yeah, this is me. I'm like, the hair looked like, a caveman, so I get it. But this hair, I'm digging it. I'm just like, to me, here he looks like, I like the way he looked in both series. But here, to me, he looks like more mature and ready. And not to jump around, but earlier in the season, we said we really want to know what his backstory is and what happened to him. And I'm really glad we did get a little bit of that. Yeah. Tonight. I'm sorry, on Sunday.
Tonight on Sunday,
yes.
Same thing. We did get a lot more of his backstory on City of Lights, of why he never left town, of why he didn't do things. And we also got some of Jenkins. We got a little bit of Cassandra about her family doesn't understand her and she doesn't really talk to them, and the brain grape. And we still are missing Ezekiel's story.
Yes.
And if we don't end up in Australia next season, then I don't know what's wrong with the show.
Please take us there, guys. Yeah. Take us to Australia.
You're making Portland every country. You can make it Australia.
Yeah. There's dragons. You can make Australia.
Yeah, easy.
We can do this, guys. We can do it.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like we've covered everything from City of Lights and Loom of Fate, and I'm trying to look over my notes and see if there's anything really important. I think the only thing that I wanted to touch on again was that in City of Lights that we end with the idea that sometimes you just lose. And it was the first episode of the series where they, it was a lose-lose situation.
Mm-hmm. You can't have a fairy tale ending all the time, and that's important. So many shows, I mean, either it's like it's very drastic and everybody dies and whatever, right. But the show it's very family friendly in a way that has never really happened. They always seem to finish what they start or save the day in some way, shape, or form. However, with that specific storyline, I do feel like the people that were supposed to be saved were not that good to begin with.
Yeah, but they weren't all Katies. They weren't all serial killers.
No, not at all. They weren't all serial killers. What they were doing was not heroic.
Right.
By taking those bodies for little parts of time. They were like, oh, it's no big deal, just a little bit. And if it were to happen throughout the season where they didn't win a fight, I'm glad it was that one.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think having a morally ambiguous storyline is so much more interesting to an audience. And that you can't have every episode wrap up with a bow.
Right.
And I like that they did it, and I like that they did it somewhere in the season. I know it wasn't supposed to be the one before the finale. And I'm glad we got to see it.
Still with Stone and the romance, it didn't exactly fit into everything, but and it does, makes you want to see more about them and him and what have you. But it was, I did really enjoy this episode as a whole.
Awesome. All right. I think it might be time to go into predictions.
Sad.
And now, your Afterbuzz TV predictions.
Okay. First thing, very important question. Do you honestly, really what you believe, think this show will get a season 2?
Yes.
Do you want to back that up, or you just yes?
So, okay.
You could just yes.
No, absolutely. Yes, I do. I do for several reasons. One is that they were smart enough to kind of tie up the show in a way that it could not come back if it didn't happen. Yeah. Which makes me think they are intelligent in a way that they know. They're amazing writers. But they left so many open-ended things, and there are huge fans of this show that have been fans of it for years. And it's important kind of that it comes back. I think it's very important. I think there's so many things we haven't touched on. Yeah. And there's so much relationship stuff, like I was talking about before, that we have not touched on.
Yes.
So I think it will come back. It might be, because as we know, this first season of this series was mixed up, and I think was supposed to be on months ago, and things got messed up. So perhaps, the network will kind of give them not a break. It deserves a second season for sure, but will kind of maybe hopefully compensate for having messed up the order of everything. So I do think so, yeah.
Okay, I agree wholeheartedly. I believe that this show will easily get a second season, with a season or a series premiere being the #1 series premiere on cable in 2014.
Yes, you're right
I
about
feel
that.
like that in itself, I would have, if I worked at TNT, I would have given it a renewal right then and there. But I don't. I know that TNT has had some 2 regime changes through the season. So
Which is not good luck for
not
a
good luck
TV
for a show.
Yeah.
But this show is so smart. It's written by great, amazing, talented people. And I know that they make sure when they write a season that there's a beginning and an end, and they conclude it. They make sure that there are no giant questions. They don't want to do cliffhangers that, would kill you if the show never came back.
And I appreciated that so much.
Oh, yeah. And they know the fans appreciate that. They know where they're going to go, and they make sure they get there. That said, they do always give us opportunity for more. It's very Leverage-like to end the season with everyone separating, and then the next season starts with everyone coming back. That's very much how they do things.
Yeah.
And they know that, and they're so good to us. They're so wonderful. So I believe 100% we will get a second season.
I hope so.
When it will be, no one knows. It could be a year and a half from now.
It could. But this is the kind of show, like I said before, you can watch over and over and over again.
Oh, yeah.
And continue to expand your knowledge of the series.
Pick up
which
little
is
things.
Amazing. Yeah, I mean, I feel like after just watching it through, some episodes twice and whatnot, but at the end of the day, I have so much more I would pick up on and want to. So at least that could carry us through, perhaps, till it gets picked up for a second season.
And what do you think, what do you want to see in season 2, and what do you think they will go with in season 2? They may not be the same thing.
Yeah, I would like to see Cassandra and Stone.
Of course you
I
would.
don't think that's going to happen now at this point. I'm just confused. But I take that back. I think it probably will. It's going to be one of those things that circle back to it. Flynn and Baird are going to have some issues, because I would have some issues with that relationship. I think I really would. And God, there's so many dimensions of worlds of things that could happen, and the way this show presents itself, especially in the last episode, that there's so many different possibilities, things that could happen. Maybe it'll explore those different realms, which would be really cool. I really liked the idea of the finale exploring that. I get that it was the finale and very exciting, but I want it to continue to explore the I love that about it.
I think that when we come back for another season, because now we have the library, I think it will be really awesome if we have to see the new librarians dealing with, if you remember, in the old library, there was a time you had to be there at a certain time. There were ways that Judson and Charlene like things to be done. And I think that is going to be such a fun way to start the season. Would be Cassandra, Stone, and Ezekiel trying to deal with, having a boss, really. That would be so fun to see for an episode.
Yeah. Oh, one last thing. Cassandra, we predicted it this season. It didn't exactly happen. She's just going to not get she might get out of control. I kind of want to see her get out of control, but also be extremely powerful and have to decide if she's good or if she's bad, because I feel like the bad side might want her too. I mean, who wouldn't want her? She's a freaking genius.
I would like to see a different villain than the Serpent Brotherhood. I feel like we have had they were the villain in the movie, and we have them again in the season, and I'd like to see another villain.
Yeah, me too.
That would be really nice. Also, I would like to see Ezekiel find love. And I want his story. I want him to find love. I want to see Australia. And I'd like him to have those silver streaks in his hair all the time. I'm sorry. People better agree with me. He looked so good.
He did look good. He looked great.
Yeah. Whew.
I mean...
Yeah. him and Christian Kane.
Yeah.
Oh man, when they all three got together, and he's all rugged and the silver and the
Well, and they just make Flynn, and that actor is a very good-looking man.
Noah Wyle.
Noah Wyle has been a sex symbol for years now, and to me, I'm just like, oh, come on, dude, like, grow up. And he's so much older than he was in ER and everything, but like he's this like kid now, and it's not sexy to me. I know that's his character. His number one priority is and will always be the library. Yeah. And
you just want you want a Jenkins. That's what you want.
But I don't want a Jenkins. I don't want Cassandra to have a Jenkins. That's weird.
I disagree. I think it's sexy.
Oh man.
Cassandra Jenkins. I totally see it. Oh, I had one last thing I wanted to say about Noah Wyle. Oh, Noah Wyle in the white suit. I'm making another Doctor Who reference, and I'm sorry for anyone who doesn't watch Doctor Who.
I even picked up on that one, actually.
If that suit was pinstriped in brown or navy with he had the Converse shoes, that was very, very David Tennant as the Doctor in that white suit. Very much so. If you didn't see it, then you haven't watched Doctor Who enough. That's what I have to say. All right. He
was great, though. Let me just say, Noah Wyle was great. I just wanted to see so much more of the character than I did. And I'm like, come back. And who are you? What are you? Yeah. But you know what? What are you going to do?
You know what you're going to do? You're going to wait till season 2. That's right. All right. Sam, it has been a fun season. Thank you. Tell the people where they can find you online while we wait for season 2.
As always, you can find me online at samdavidsonentertainment.com and on Twitter and Instagram at samd43.
Awesome. And while you wait for season 2, you can find me on yael.tv. That's yael.tv. And here at AfterBuzz on a whole bunch of other shows, including Grimm, Constantine, Switched at Birth, SVU, all sorts of good stuff. And I'm on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google Plus at Yael Tygiel. That's YaelTygiel. And we will see you for season 2.
Woo!
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.